Resource Update. My name is Daniel Vallis and welcome to our channel. Today is the 14th and here is Jupiter's position from Jerusalem. And as you could see, it is very clearly within the leg on all four charts that we looked at and others too as well. This is where it will be on the 15th, still within all four charts. 16th, still. Even by the 17th, you could say that it is still in all four charts well within the leg. And that doesn't even count the fuzzy hind hairy parts of the leg too that we excluded on some charts. So even on the 17th, it is in all four charts that we looked at. The 18th, it's still in 3 of the charts. And then the 19th, it's still in 3 of the charts too as well. So up to the 19th, we can show for sure that yes, Jupiter is in the leg on antique celestial charts, which demonstrate the recognized and accepted consistent consensus conceptual view of Leo. Now I've uploaded to our Google Drive in our gathering folder 2 different PDFs. One PDF that has just all the plot charts for the days ahead, so you can just reference all them and look through them for the different days. But then I also have the different locations of the sun too as well over the next few days too as well, just for your own reference to look through. But then I just uploaded a new PDF. It's a poster size, about 24 inches by 24 inches. And this way you can study what we looked at in our last video. And I've made it a little clearer. I've added the outside ring is 2016. The correlation of the Jewish months from a biblical celestial calendar view, which is the exact same method we used for plotting out the entire last year too as well. So it's all consistent using the exact same calendaring method. And it just makes it a lot easier to read. So you can find that in our gathering folder too as well. And when we zoom in, we can see I made it a little bit easier. The bottom line of text is our Gregorian dates that we're familiar with, but the colored in dates, that would be the Jewish dates on a celestial calendar. And in our last video, we talked about how the midpoint of the 2 Bethlehem stars was pointing to this time, triangulated to the median average, and that's all we can say about it is the average is right around here somewhere. It will vary plus or minus a day depending on your time zone and various other factors when the peak of the star Bethlehems was considered too as well. So keep that in mind. Let's zoom in a little bit here so you can read it a little bit better. And when reading the dates, for example, today is the 14th in my time zone, Central Standard Time. So do keep that in mind too. The offset is shown to my time zone, and so I know the day 11 on month Elul is starting today on my 14th. So that's how you read it. And then just approximate for your time zone too as well. So the Jewish day from a biblical perspective starts at sunset. So their sunset was starting about my lunchtime. So their next day biblically was starting halfway through my day on the Gregorian calendar. And keep in mind the fuzz factor of these calculations. We're just sharing with you what we see so far, but we know that there is some playroom, there is some possibility of wiggle room, plus or minus, and plus how you are viewing it from your time and relationship to your time zone and all that. There is that plus or minus a day. So keep that in mind, pad your expectations. All we know is it's pointing to this time where we are right now in the end of the SHILOH sign coming together as well. And just to let you know, the midpoint math can also be done for the days. For example, last year the first star Bethlehem was on June 30th. Then the peak of the second instance was on October 26th. With a gap of about 119 days if you measure between the peaks. You divide that in half to find the median, you end up with 59.5 days. We'll round that up to 60. On the Jewish calendar last year, the equivalent for June 30th was the 4th month of the Jewish calendar, the 12th day. So we correlate that to what the equivalent would be this year on the Jewish biblical calendar. 1 year later on the biblical calendar, the 4th month and the 12th day would be June 17th. So then from June 17th, we can add 60 days, and that will show us the midpoint and verify our calculations. Yes, it is the 16th. That is the mathematical midpoint too as well between the time frame. And one difference I did note between what we stated yesterday, which was the 15th, and today, the 16th, was just a difference of 1 day difference between the months of this year and last year. So I do want to make that update too as well. So it's pointing around the 16th, 17th. There is a fuzz factor. We don't know. All we know is it's pointing to around here somewhere at the exact same time as the sign in Shiloh, strongly provable in the celestial charts too as well. 2 separate signs. The Star of Bethlehem signs pointing to the exact same days that the sign in Shiloh is also nearing the end too as well, but still within a strong provable area. This should catch our attention that 2 celestial events are both pointing to almost the exact same day. And they go together with the symbolism, the shadows, and patterns. We see the signs in the heavens showing us clockwork precision of what the season is, and that we are expecting the gathering of our beloved, of our King of Shiloh, coming to gather his bride. You can also find this summary sheet in our gathering folder too as well. So definitely download these resources, examine them. There is a lot coming together. We have some powerful reminders coming together right now. We do not know the day or hour. All we know is our attention is being drawn to these final days where we know it is strongly applicable, and we have even further pointing by the celestial signs within these final few days. So we do need to be sober. We need to be vigilant, and we need to be ready. Also download our Be Ye Ready guide, which examines the warnings and guidelines that Christ gave his disciples of what we need to be doing when we know he is about to return. Also definitely review the letters to the 7 churches. I highly suggest you watch the video for that too as well. Ask the Lord to show you what needs to be changed, areas that we might need to address. How can we shine brighter? How can we serve God even more at this time? And then also definitely reference the Purify and Sanctify sheets, which look at Scripture, which shows us and reminds us of things we need to put out of our life, but then also what we need to put into our life. Just like Esther had a 2-part time, 1/2 for purification and 1 part for preparation, we are also called to the exact same process. We have to purify. We have to remove certain things. We have to cast off certain things. We have to trim off certain things. But in the other hand, at the same time, we have to sanctify. We have to add on to, we have to perfume our life. We have to grow and foster the fruits of the Spirit in our life. There are things that we should be adding to our life. We should be putting on the armor of light right now when we know what time it is. So now is a good time to review what should we purify in our life right now? What do we need to wash off? What do we need to clean up in our life? But then also, what do we need to put into our lamp so that we are shining bright? What does Christ want to see in our life when he returns? And now is a good time to also review the Shiloh booklet and understand how God gave us the lights in the firmament for signs, but to also indicate the seasons and the time. And when we consider all 3 of these aspects together, then we have an incredible understanding of the time that God is drawing our attention to. We have an understanding of the time. We have an understanding of the lights in the firmament, which also shows us signs. And all 3 of these come together to show us we are at a very important time. The sign of Shiloh, which ties in with Purim and Esther, our king coming for his beloved. There's going to be a gathering. There's going to be a harvesting. The bridegroom cometh. Go ye out to meet him. Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. Let us trim our lamps at this time and shine bright for Christ and serve him first and highest above all else. Maranatha.